Hello everyone, I welcome you all once again to my education channel PRABHAVI Education Hub, and in this video we are going to learn about international economic organizations and India. This is chapter 16. There are already 15 chapters part wise I have already covered in this economic series. So you have to watch all the videos and you have to also take the screenshot of each slide, and that will work for you as a note. You need not to worry about making notes. You can use these notes. These are very important. This is Indian economy, chapter 16. Let's begin. So before this I would say you have to subscribe my channel also, and please do not forget to press the bell icon, because that will only enable you to get the notification of my uploads at the right time whenever I upload. So let's see the contents. The contents of my class includes international monetary system. It is a system, we will discuss about it. Then Bretton Woods development, World Bank and IMF came with these developments, Bretton Woods development. Then International Monetary Fund we will discuss. Then we will also cover World Bank. Then India's BIPA we will discuss in this class. Asian Development Bank, again very important. This is the organization. OECD. Then World Trade Organization also we will cover, very important. Nairobi negotiations and India we will cover. Buenos Aires conference and India, we will also cover this topic. BRICS Bank, made by Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Okay. Next, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. This is also new bank, very important bank, and India is basically member of it. So first of all we will discuss international monetary system point wise. Number one point, this system refers to the customs, rules, instruments, facilities and organizations facilitating international, or you can call external payments. So these are the mechanism required to make facilitate international external payments, international, or you can call it external payments. So there must be a system which can facilitate these payments, and they are customs, rules, instruments, facilities, organizations, and combination of this is called international monetary system. Next, it can be fixed currency regime. It can be, the system can be in the form of fixed currency regime, because it is related to payments, international payments. So there must be some currency regime also, because different countries have different currencies. Let's say USA has dollar, India has rupiah, okay. Japan has yen, okay. So different countries has different currency as they use. But for international trade, for international payments, there must be some regime, there must be some modus operandi, and according to which the payments could be paid, and this is in the form of fixed currency regime. It may be international monetary system in the form of fixed currency regime, or it may be floating currency regime, or it also can be in the form of managed exchange regime, which India follow managed exchange regime. Okay, I have already explained these terms, there is no problem, you can watch my previous videos. Now, how you can determine good IMS, good international monetary system? It can be determined by seeing two objectives, whether this international monetary system is fulfilling or not. So these two objectives are: number one, maximizes the flow of foreign trade and foreign investment. So the first good objective which a good IMS fulfill is it maximize the flow of foreign trade. So it should be a system which can have potential to maximize the flow of foreign trade and foreign investment. Okay. Next, it should also lead to an equitable distribution of gains from trade among the nations of the world. So it should be equitable distribution of the gains, not it should be like it should not like unequal distribution of gain, as sometimes it has been observed that the developed countries are getting more benefit than others, such as developing countries and least developed countries. So it has been also, there is a data that 80% of the wealth are concentrated with the 20% of the developed countries, and remaining 20% of the wealth is has only left for the 80% of the remaining nations. So this is a crisscross like situation, which is not good. So an international monetary system should have a good objective, and that should be in the two form. One is it should maximize the flow of foreign trade and foreign investment, and second one is very important, it must lead to an equitable distribution of the gains from trade among the nations of world. Now next point is how you evaluate a good IMS. How we can evaluate a good IMS, International Monetary System. So it can be evaluated in terms of adjustment, liquidity and confidence. So there are three terms: adjustment, liquidity and confidence, and we will also know further in this slide about more detail in this of these terms. Okay, so next point is related to adjustment only. Adjustment, what is adjustment then? If it is a somehow measure to evaluate international monetary system, we must know what is adjustment then. So whenever there is a balance of payment crisis, adjustment came into existence. It is a process for balance of payment crisis correction, adjustment. Okay, whenever a nation such as India had faced earlier in 1991, our country faced a severe balance of payment crisis, and we reached to International Monetary Fund, which is part of International Monetary System, and they basically helped us out from the crisis. So adjustment is a process of taking adjustment, basically taking steps regarding adjustment of balance of payment crisis of a nation, and it corrected properly. Next, a good IMS tries to minimize the cost of balance of payment adjustment. Okay, so as you might have seen my previous video, I have already explained that when we reached to IMF put some conditions upon us. That was devaluation of rupees and cutting of expenditures of government, etc. It put some obligatory conditions upon us. So the cost of these obligations should be at least minimum. Next, liquidity we will discuss. What is liquidity? Liquidity in this international monetary system is considered to be the foreign currency reserve available to settle the balance of payment crisis. Nothing additionally to brief about this liquidity. It is just foreign currency reserve available with the international monetary system to settle the balance of payment crisis of the nations. Okay, next, a good IMS maintains it properly. Okay, the nations have faith upon the international monetary system that they are maintaining the foreign currency reserves. Whenever we will have some problem, we can reach to the organization, and definitely they will help us out. Next is confidence. Confidence is just like it's a faith of nations shows to that the adjustment mechanism of IMS is good. Okay, so it is just a confidence, you can say. It is just a faith of nation shown towards the adjustment mechanism of international monetary system. Next point is, it is basically the confidence is based on the transparent knowledge information about the IMS. So everybody is aware about the IMS provisions, knowledge sharing, etc. So there is nothing vague provision in IMS. There must not be, because that will only enable the confidence among the nations. However, these are actually not happening. Anyway, we will see the problems with the different organizations, but this was important to brief you about international monetary system, and that's all from this video. We will cover next part in the next video, lecture 2 of this 16th chapter. I will be very soon coming with. And that's all from this video. If you have enjoyed my video, please give a thumbs up to it, and do subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to press the bell icon also. Bye.